All right, what's up, assholes? We're racing e-bikes today. Here with the Dominator. He's on the clap wagon, Scott Ransom. I'm on the Crestline. We're at Dodge Ridge for the California Enduro, and we're dropping into stage 1 ASAP. So let's do it.
2, 1, go.
All right, thought I'd just chime in here and commentate over these runs, give you guys some insight about what I'm thinking, what's going on with the bike, the trail, and things. So this is stage 1, 3rd-degree berms. It's a machine-built flow type trail, but the dirt is loose. That's going to be a topic for the rest of the video. The dirt here just has almost no composure. They've done a really good job with it given the circumstances. Getting some water into the dirt and getting it pretty packed down. Here I go for outside line, just kind of playing the momentum game. That's kind of my strategy with the whole weekend. Is the dirt's loose, there's quite a bit going on, and if anything, I kind of chose to be a little bit conservative and just focus on my overall average speed. Plus I am racing e-bikes here on the S3 Crestline, and I feel like you can kind of get away with being a bit conservative in the corners and just pedaling out of them, and you're going to be kind of up to speed or the speed limit with the 20 mile an hour limit on the motor anyway. So I was pedaling over it in spots, but really the goal was to get the corner good, consistent, and then throw in a few quick pedal strokes, get up to your terminal velocity on this thing. And I kind of chose my battles when it was hard pack to try and pedal over the limit, but then gets into some more technical stuff in the trees here. This is kind of going to be characteristic of the rest of the run. And here I'm pretty tired. You can kind of see my front wheel wandering and stuff. And plus the shadows it was really hard to see. Here I kind of forgot to look ahead as much as I wanted to. I was kind of just tired looking down at my front wheel, but it wasn't too technical. And this was a great way to start the race. Really consistent. I mean, I stalled out in one corner up there, but a nice one to just put on the board and kind of build for the rest of the race. Whew. Ah, fuck. Kinda, yeah. Pretty juiced on that. Maybe one corner I messed up, and then the bottom section, maybe not really super intense, but I carried good speed, pedaled hard, and now I feel pretty cooked. These are my training intervals. All right, this one hits a little diffy. This is probably the sickest stage out here.
Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2.
All right, stage 2 here. This one is absolutely mangled. One of my favorite stages, but also one of the hardest. And coming in here, I try and set up. It's super blown out, and I do this big front wash. And multiple times this race, I feel like I was hitting corners, pedaling out of them, and fully understeering and just kind of using the motor to power me through a massive front wash. And then in here, I have a little sneaky. That was just a really subtle setup on the left side of the trail. And here I'm kind of flowing into the run, and I think we bust out onto a big traverse here. But this whole race was, I was coming back from Europe, so the dirt there has quite a bit of composure, and here it just doesn't. And I had a few crashes during practice, my first 2 runs, and from there I kind of backed it down a little bit and started to feel the flow. So here I get out of that rut. It was really hard to judge whether to commit to the ruts or try and get out of them, and you kind of had to figure it out on a case-by-case basis. Here I go to slam the rut. Usually just committing to the rut was the go, because you're kind of also just searching for the most hard-packed dirt to maximize your rolling speed. Here, another front wash that I kind of just fell into and rode out. This was a really chunky monkey section, but I got through that really well. I was super happy with that. You kind of had to yeah, set up over a little rock. And here, this is the stuff I felt the least confident in, like just this traversey stuff where you're kind of on edge. I didn't know the trail super well, so I didn't commit all the way to these corners here, like over brake there. I dragged brake a few sections up there too. And then here, super hard light to judge and a bunch of rocks. This was like maybe the section I was most scared of on the entire track. Lots of things that can hit your pedals, send you over the bars. You can kind of pick your line, but it does work like more naturally than you might expect. And then here coming up, this is maybe one of my biggest moments of the race. Choose to commit to that pocket, and just every time you feel like you can push into something, it just blows up. And that's what happened there. Almost got sent over the bars. And then here down into these wide open corners. Again, like really kind of loose over hard pack, some pebbly stuff. I rode it all right, but definitely didn't feel like the most confident in here. But all things considered, that was a pretty nice stage. I was happy with that.
That was hectic. Ooh, that was kind of like gnarly. Dude, the bottom section is fucking rowdy.
It's so sick.
Like, I almost had a huge front push. I mean, I did have a huge front push. Multiple times I was like boosting out of understeers. Like, ah!
Sure. All right, stage 3. The next 2 stages are more kind of single track, like single black type trails, but still super loose. And yeah, there's just always like really subtle line choice, and you have to be so delicate. This is some of my favorite type of terrain to race. You just have to have a really, like, okay, this corner was messed up. Like that rut was axle deep almost. And then just everything is just bomb holed out. The trails change so much for the race. And it's just this really interesting style of riding where you have to be committed, but also so delicate, and you're always sliding. And it just makes for a really dynamic riding style, carrying momentum, taking little lines and finding the hard packed sections of track. So it's super dynamic, but also not super high risk. I feel like crashing in any of these corners isn't too bad. But besides those first couple corners up top, I feel like I'm carrying good speed here. And generally, I feel like when you hit a section good on these trails, it kind of feels like you could have gone faster. But as soon as you start pushing and feeling like you want to rip a corner, that's instantly when you're going to tuck your front and stuff. So yeah, like I said earlier, my approach here is like to be a little bit more on the conservative side and really focus on my momentum and braking. Really trying to come in controlled, get off the brakes, and carry speed through the apex. And here, some really tighter, more awkward corners. And again, just trying to keep my average speed up, no big stall outs. Really just trying not to risk like that big moment where I stuff my front tire and lose a bunch of speed. These traverses too, with the bushes, it's like hard to exactly know where to put your front tire and commit. Like right there, the camber was like really wanting to push you off the trail. And here, I think this was some of the best corners I executed in the race, just hitting the ruts nicely. Yeah, you can see my front tire tracking, not having like a ton of huge moments. And the goal is just to carve smooth arcs through the corners. It's really easy to get your front tire to knife or your back end to step out. So I think when you hit a corner well, it can kind of just be underwhelming, but you're riding that limit of sliding and hooking. And there I got a nice little inside line. That was one that worked really well. And yeah, just a lot of really nice kind of technical corners linked up back to back. And yeah, was pretty happy with that stage.
All right, I'll take it. A little sloppy up top, but got it together at the bottom.
That first right was so deep.
Yeah, I was like, holy fuck.
That's what I said.
I was like, hey, we said stay in the rut. I was like, just go for it.
Don't got electrolytes, so we got sea salt, and water. Just trying to use as many of these bad boys as I can.
All right, stage 4. Kind of a similar character as the last one. The Crestline is working really well. I think the S3 Crestline in 29er is one of the better bikes I could have chosen for this race. Carried great speed, really fluttery off the top, so just tracks super well. And I could really turn it on a dime when I needed to. There was a huge rock in the rut there that I needed to account for. But yeah, this bike has like this really interesting ability to kind of cutty and turn all at once when you need to, but it also carves the line quite nicely. And for a bigger travel bike, it's quite easy mannered and easy to maneuver. So it's quite forgiving. And on these trails, I think that was definitely a help. It can get kind of crazy when you're really hauling ass and hitting rough stuff, but there honestly wasn't a whole lot of that. Like most of these trails, you're really picking your way through. Here, kind of just like riding those undulations, and again, not trying to risk a big moment in any of these corners. This section, a lot of just kind of unremarkable corners, just linked back to back to back. And yeah, here I crashed in practice, so I hopped my front tire out of that rut so I didn't ride it off the trail. And yeah, just continuing to play the momentum game, slamming that rut, getting high and able to carve into that corner. That felt really nice. And yeah, you're kind of just like dancing with the trail the entire time. I know I've already talked about why I like these trails, but yeah, it feels more like a dynamic dance where you're feeling it out. And the trails changed so much practice to race. Like I don't know any other set of trails that change so much. And it's almost like you're riding motocross where the track's changing lap by lap. So you can't come in with this like preconceived plan that you're super attached to. You kind of have to just make it up as you go. Like coming in here, I think this right-hander was super blown out. And yeah, like I don't really have an idea of what I'm going to do, but like, you know, just slam the rut, be delicate, light on the front wheel. You do kind of have to ride over the back. There, I crashed last year. Go check out my video from last year where I raced a 2008 Santa Cruz Nomad. That was a deal. And then, yeah, set up into there, slammed into that. Again, had to ride a front washout. Definitely lost some momentum there, overcooked it. And then this bottom section, again, this is where I felt like the most dicey almost. Like, just really subtle corners. You're on edge, and I think it maybe has something to do with these Magic Marys. They worked really well in the soft stuff, like super predictable. But here, I don't feel like they're quite the best for this like more hard packed dirt, flat corners where it was just harder to get a little bit of like a feel for what the tire was doing. Also, I was tired in my upper body, and I probably wasn't riding like as aggressive over the front as I really wanted to be. But again, just kind of smooth, consistent, some spicy moments, but another good stage.
Fucking hell. That was like maybe the most physical one.
I mean, I might not have been pedaling enough, but it was like, yeah, it's lots of traversing.
Dude, anywhere it's where this is like kind of grass turny, flat shit, I'm just like
Not super on.
not confident. Yeah.
Honestly, those tires are not super sick in that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think. Like they don't love hard pack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip back up to the truck real quick.
Yeah, I'm down. I got some caffeine too. All right, midday check-in. 2 stages left. Pretty happy with how I'm riding, honestly. I mean, like, very minor mistakes here and there. With how dusty and loose everything is, it kind of, if you hit it really good, it kind of feels like you undershot the threshold a little bit. But as soon as you push over that, like I find I start like stuffing my front wheel, washing, and shit getting weird. So I feel like I'm riding at like 85%, and I'm being fairly smooth for the most part. Some little brake drag moments here and there where I'm just a little timid. But overall, I mean, I think all my stages so far have been like pretty close to how I would have wanted to ride them with. Yeah, this stage is a bit of a weird one to race. It's a flow trail.
So as I alluded to, this is an interesting one to race. A loose, bermed out trail top to bottom. And I crashed here in practice, just pushing the limit in the turns. And yeah, I kind of chose to be a bit more conservative and, again, just play the consistent momentum game. Most of these corners, I rode really high in the berm and tried to use the almost longest line possible just to prevent myself from putting more energy into the bike into a single spot and washing out. And, a lot of the times, just pedaling through the corner, riding the very top of it all the way around, like here, getting on the pedals early. And I don't know, it was really hard to judge whether I was going fast or not, because it kind of felt like I was going slow. Yeah, and besides that, just really focusing on my braking. Here, I did do an inside line. That was like my one risky line. I think it worked out pretty good. Again, not trying to have like a big slide moment, just really carve a line. And here, I got sent a little bit more inside, had to kind of square it up into that pocket. But from here on out, was trying to be very smooth and consistent. But yeah, I think the thing I was really focusing on is just getting my braking right. And here you're not braking super hard, but it's just pays to be really delicate and precise with the braking. I feel like this run almost looks boring because nothing's really happening. I don't think it looks like I'm going that fast. And I don't know, I ended up winning the stage. It was somewhat competitive, but I feel like the strategy kind of worked here for where I was going. But really focusing on being smooth and off the brakes at the apex, to just carry momentum, average speed. And I feel like more and more as I race, I view my race runs as a whole a lot more. And it's just a feeling of momentum, consistency from top to bottom, rather than focusing on shredding one section or the other. Here, I have a massive moment. 2-wheel slide. I don't know if you could tell, but that was kind of full speed, feet on the pedals, both wheels sliding. That could have easily been a high side. So that got the heart rate up. But yeah, it's as I race more, I'm especially with enduro, in the e-bike category, I'm not taking this stuff super seriously, but I am just focused on an overall feeling of momentum throughout the run, than really trying to nail a lot of these sections. I think with how I rode these, the racer I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have felt really I should have gone faster, felt really attached to ripping the shit out of every section. And that's not really what I'm trying to do anymore. It's really just putting together the run as a whole and having a feeling of momentum and consistency from top to bottom. And that's brought a lot more consistency and speed into my race runs. And I think from there, if I were to train and up the intensity, I have a good platform to build off of, where I'm putting together full runs consistently at good speed. I just need to be a little bit more fit and a little bit more committed if I want to kind of take it to the next level. But I think mindset wise, that's been a really good progression for my racing. That's happened kind of in the past couple years. And I come into the race runs with a pretty casual mindset. Heart rate isn't up, not stressed. Maybe if there was more on the line and I was more locked in, I could get into a more focused, aggressive mindset. But in all these, I'm kind of chilling. It's pretty casual, and I kind of just ride at 85%, and it seems to work out pretty good.
I don't know. Out of any of them, I'm most confused on if that was what to do and if that was even fast. A lot of them I just rode super high.
I would go almost below the bullshit, or sometimes hit it. And
I definitely hit the bullshit a lot too.
All right, Tibularasa, last stage of the day. Also probably the gnarliest. Here I was kind of tired and fatigued. Not so much physically, but just mentally. It was hot. I kind of just wanted to get this over with, but wanted to put together a good stage. And this top section is freaking hectic. Over those rocks is really dicey. Here, super blown out, but was able to commit to that right-hander, had a little bit of support, and then down these volcanic rocks, kind of sketchy, and then I fought to get inside to set up to this left. Big front push, kind of gnarly off the drop. This section was hectic. Tried to set up wide into here, but then catch the rut on the exit, and then hesitated here to get inside to straight shot out onto the ski run. And then set up here, again, like not super committed on entry, but just focusing on getting my exit good. You know, slammed into that, but again, just stayed pretty consistent. And then here, another traverse, another area where I'm not feeling, you know, that confident, but then you kind of send it off this rise into braking. Again, catch that rut, kind of on the edge of traction. Here, my feet were jostled around, but was able to kind of slam into that level of support, you know, wide line that everyone was taking. And then here, maybe the biggest line choice on the track, set up wide, cut inside to the tape, and then cruise all the way around that left-hander. There were 2 steps on the inside that were really hard to get right. So I was pretty stoked on that line. This section, super scary, wide open, and almost like a tire width rut to catch at the bottom. Definitely conservative through there. And then here, slammed into that real nice, but then there's just like a lot of successive right to lefts with really deep ruts that are tempting to inside, but I feel like you kind of just gotta ride the rut and kind of deal with whatever the trail gives you. Yeah, what else? Let's see. Yeah, here maybe a little inside, but yeah, just kind of going with it. Some big holes, big hook into the berm, massive front wash, held onto it. I'm like, okay, let's just get this thing to the bottom. Another big front moment. I'm like, oh my God, it's all falling apart. But yeah, we're almost there. There's a nice step down right here, huck to the side of the trail. This feels sick. And then just carry the speed and into the last corner. This felt sloppy, but this was actually my best stage when I compare it to the pro times. Todd here won the race, and I think I was like 4 seconds off of his time, which I was really stoked on. But yeah, we'll show you the results, but that's a wrap for the race.
Nice work, dude.
That was sloppy.
I kind of felt the same. That was maybe my like worst run of the day.
For sure. It was so fucked up.
Yeah, like 2 moments that could have been crashes quite easily.
I didn't have any like of those, but there's a lot of front end pushing offline.
Yeah. Dude, that was gnarly.
That was rough.
Yeah.
That was not like practice.
What hurts?
Sweet.
Got them all?
Take it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Sweet, thank you. Got the dub, got the dub.
I was probably 5 seconds off stage, huh?
Like roughly.
Yeah.
So Todd, overall time, I mean, he definitely smoked me.
This is your type of course, 1 foot out.
Yeah, dude, I was keeping my feet up.
As of now.
Besides the last stage, my feet were up. So Todd's overall time was 18:41.
Pace, right?
19:15. Would have got second in pro. You know, that's with the motor, but hey. And few stages, I was only like 4 or 5 seconds off of Todd, man. So I'm pretty stoked on that, you know, some pace. But yeah, I think that's a wrap. I'm fucking smoked.